Sir Desmond Stirling in Dread Rocks Holiday, Part 3.
I awoke with a gasp, drenched in sweat, unusual in a draughty old lighthouse like this. I didn't recall making my way to bed, but I suspect I topped up our whisky glasses more than I'd intended to. Old Jethro! That was the last thing I remembered. Old Jethro pushing back his ratty hair and showing me his gills. Surely it must have been a dream. Did he even come to the lighthouse, whether by boat or swimming like a hairy mackerel? Only one way to find out. I leapt out of the hammock. If old Jethro had arrived here last night, he'd presumably still be around. I pulled on my underpants. I wasn't going to get caught out again, orchestras akimbo. But before I could leave the bedroom, I heard a noise. Footsteps. Heavy ones, too. They were accompanied by the sound of wheezing, the sound made by that dirty fellow who would constantly ring my wife and make filthy suggestions. Wretched man reversed the charges, too, and she would always accept them. "Old Jethro, is that you?" I called out. Answer came there none. "Are you looking for the lavatory?" I asked. "It's further downstairs, but I usually just pop the Johnson out of the nearest porthole. I amuse myself by trying to pot a cormorant." Still no reply, although the footsteps were getting nearer, the wheezing louder. "Don't bother coming up any further," I shouted. "I'll come down and meet you." I peered around looking for something I could use as a weapon. Ah, the perfect thing! A harpoon I'd brought along, just in case I fancied a spot of whaling. I grabbed it and left the room. I trod gingerly down the circular staircase, not because I was scared, but I didn't want my footsteps to intrude on the sound of whoever, I corrected myself, now was not the time to be imaginative, whoever was approaching. I hadn't even reached the floor below when I caught my first glimpse of what was climbing the stairs. I could scarcely believe my eyes. It was someone in an old-fashioned diving suit, of the type I can imagine used by Captain Nemo's crew aboard the Nautilus. The whole outfit, made of some sort of canvas, I assumed, was topped by a round brass helmet, at the front of which was a porthole. I peered through the glass, but I couldn't see who was inside. "Is that you, old Jethro?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "So that's how you got out to Dread Rocks Lighthouse, is it? You must have needed a very long air hose," I joked. At which point I noticed that there was no air hose attached to the outfit. Whoever was inside had no access to oxygen. "You must have frightfully good breath control," I said, giving my brain time to work out what to do next. But before the old grey matter had made a decision, my body leapt forward, grabbed the porthole at the front of the helmet, and wrenched it open. I stared inside the helmet. There was no one inside.
Sir Desmond Stirling in Dread Rocks Holiday was written and performed by Anthony Keetch.